Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Who knows what time it is when you're watching this, but we are so glad you are here. It's Computer Science Education Week. This is day 3 of our awesome hour of code with Googlers. We have one Googler right here that I'm going to introduce in just a second. We have more Googlers backstage that you're going to meet. But before we get to any of that, let's pause and just take a moment to think about the land that we are on. If you have a window, look out the window. It's beautiful and sunny where I am today. I'm in Calgary. I am on the Treaty 7 territory of the Blackfoot, the Piikani, the Kainai, Tsuut'ina, Stoney Nakoda, Métis. So many rich cultures here on this land. And I just want to take a moment and just acknowledge and be thankful that I'm able to be here on these lands that were originally settled before me. So take a moment, think about whose lands are you on? And if you haven't had a chance to see this link that you see on this page, native-land.ca, an unbelievable resource where you can learn more. I mentioned I'm in Calgary. My name is Michelle Armstrong. I am with the Cobblestone Collective. We are educators that love working with teachers and students just like you. And we also get to work with Google and bring you amazing workshops like this one where we're going to dive into coding. So before we dive into coding, we are going to meet the Tooglers. Wait, Tooglers, Googlers. Sandy's going to explain that. We're going to get coding, and then we're going to be able to see our work from those Tooglers. Teachers, you can tell I'm a little bit excited. If things get going a bit too fast, you can pause us at any point. And this recording is going to be here forever and ever, so you'll be able to replay it. How do you talk to us, though, students? You might be wondering. Take a look at the link on the screen. Students, this is your first task that you need to do. You're going to go into a new tab. Hopefully you have a device in front of you. Go into a new tab, type in the cc.page/CS first, and I want you to let us know what's your name and let us know what grade are you in. We want to hear from you. So go to that link, the cc.page/CS first. Let us know what's your name and what grade are you in. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to introduce our very first Googler. Sandy Curry is here with us. Hello, Sandy.
Good morning, Michelle, and good morning, educators and students across Canada joining us for Computer Science Education Week and more specifically, Hour of Code. So this is, like Michelle said, 3 of 3 parts. And Michelle and I feel like we're going so fast because we really just want to get you in there and get you coding with the Tooglers. So we have Googlers joining us today, Michelle, and maybe we can just start to bring them out so they could wave and give a little hello. And so if students, there's Elmi. Hello, Elmi. And there's Jeff. Good morning, Jeff. And Henry Michelle. Hello, Henry Michelle. And so students, educators, if you work at Google, we call you a Googler. So Jeff, Elmi, and Henry Michelle are all Googlers, but I call them Tooglers because they help me, they help Michelle and I to teach you. So we call them Tooglers. And so we pull them away from their day job and we bring them in here to have fun and to get coding with you. And Michelle, I see that form populating. We have Carter, Kelly, Troy. We have some are in grade 8, some are in grade 6. We have a couple in grade 7. Kendall's in grade 7. Kelly is in grade 8. So lots of students starting to populate that form with us. So again, my name is Sandy Curry and I'm the STEM Computer Science Outreach Program Manager for Google Canada, working alongside the Cobblestone Collective to bring all of this good coding fun into your classrooms across the curriculum. So Michelle, I'm going to pop into the back of the broadcast studio. Elmi, Jeff, Henry, Michelle, I know you're going to have fun with the kiddos today. So happy coding, and I'll see what you're up to in a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sandy. And yes, thank you, Tooglers, our teaching Googlers. You guys are volunteering your time to be my students today. Are you guys ready to be students rather than Googlers today? So, students out there, we have another question for you. What is your favorite game? So, today we're going to be working with code and we are going to be able to find code for a whole bunch of different games. So, students, let us know in the form what's your favorite game? Maybe it's a video game, maybe it's a board game, maybe it's a sport. Who knows? What's your favorite game? And this now we're going to go to our Tuglers. Let's start with you, Henri Michel. What's your favorite game or games?
Um, well, my favorite video game is probably Ori and the Will of the Wisp. It's graphically very stunning,
The
and it
Will of the Wisp. I've not heard of
yes.
that. I am interested to learn more. I wonder, students, maybe you've heard of it. We've got, wow, Kendall and Troy, Hunter Call of the Wild. I'm not sure what that is either. We have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Awesome. We've got some like Call of Duty. Thomas. Cristiano likes Fortnite. Okay. Elmi, let's go over to you. What's your favorite game?
That's a hard question, but I'll try to answer. So I like games which have a story to them. So the one I've been playing for many, many years is World of Warcraft. But out of the games that don't take as much time and don't require as much time investment, I like Candy Crush, but I also like Water Sword, which is a game where you pour liquids into jars. And of course, Sudoku.
Oh,
Too many games.
okay. I love that. Okay, so Sudoku, maybe even as a paper-based game, or we could play digitally. Candy Crush, that's totally my favorite. That's the game I'm going to be working with today. But Water Sort, I haven't heard of that. I'm excited to see more. I'm going to do a few more call outs here. Love it. Jordan and Isabel love hockey, sports. Awesome. You might be able to work with some code that is hockey or sports themed. So keep that in mind. Savannah likes Mortal Kombat. Ethan, we've got Call of Duty franchise lovers there. Maddie likes Monopoly. Very cool. Audrey likes Minecraft. Jasmine likes Minecraft and Roblox. We have more Roblox lovers in Kira. Kyler, you like Pokemon. Sydney, FIFA and soccer. I bet you're watching World Cup. Okay, Jeff, what's your favorite game or favorite games?
It's a long list. I'd say right now my favorite game that I probably play is a game called Overwatch. I play, but like everyone here, I play. I have 3 young boys at home, so we play a lot of Fortnite in our house, and we've been playing a lot of NHL 23 and NHL and FIFA because of the World Cup and the hockey. So
Of course. Okay.
and Roblox. I see Roblox is really popular here. That's another really popular game.
Yep. Love it. Okay. So, Jeff, Elmi, Henry, Michelle, you guys kind of know what we're going to be doing. I gave you guys the lowdown earlier. So, I'm going to let you guys go backstage and you guys start doing your coding. Students, I'm going to let you in on a secret where you can find code for your favorite game, and we're going to be manipulating that code. So, Tuglers, we'll let you guys go hide backstage. I'm even going to go full screen here so students, you can see what we are going to be doing. So, you have thought of your favorite game. Did you know that we can find code for probably every game you know? Maybe not every game, but we're going to find code for your favorite game, and then we're going to manipulate that code. Where do we find this code? Ta-da! Scratch. So Scratch, MIT, has a public library where you can search for any topic, and chances are good you're going to find your favorite game. So what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to go through this again, but what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going to scratch.mit.edu. We're going to be searching for our favorite game. So Nuaria, maybe you're going to look for Roblox. Jacob, you might look for Minecraft. Sam, you like hockey? Maybe there is hockey code. Alexander, you like NHL 23 as well, just like Jeff. Maybe you're going to search NHL 23. So we're going to go to Scratch MIT. We're going to search for our favorite game. But then you're going to see, whoa, there are so many games that people have programmed. You have to decide if that code is appropriate code, or if that person has published something that's going to work for you. So once we get the code, we're going to go and actually look inside our code, and then we're going to be manipulating that. So students, I just went through the steps. Some of you probably are already there. You already have your code. I'm going to walk through that one more time. This time, students, you follow me, and then hopefully we'll all have some code that we can work with. So I have gone to scratch.mit.edu. Students, in a new tab, you want to type in scratch.mit.edu. You are going to search for your favorite game. I am going to search Candy Crush. Seriously, it's my favorite game. I think I'm on level like 3,000. I love it. So when I search Candy Crush and I press enter, I see a whole lot of programs that other coders have put inside the Scratch library, and they're sharing that with anybody who wants to use it. So, students, if you want to follow exactly what I'm doing, absolutely you can. And that'll make things a little bit easier. So if you're a little worried about, what are we doing? Go ahead and search Candy Crush. Follow exactly what I'm doing. It'll make it a little bit easier for you. But those of you, if you're brave, you want to just search whatever game you love, go for it. We're going to show you a couple of tips on how you can modify that game. But your choice, search whatever game you love, or follow me exactly and do Candy Crush. We'll learn some tips together. Okay, so we've got our favorite game, or we've got Candy Crush. We've got to decide, which one of these do I choose? There's so many. The way that you're going to choose an appropriate game, click on whichever one you want, and then I want to show you what you want to look for. So if you look, first of all, look at the instructions, look at the notes. Hopefully they have some info. You're thinking, oh yeah, okay, this looks like a good game. But then more specifically, look underneath the main window. How many people have viewed this? In this case, 13,000 people have viewed my code, the code that I'm going to use. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Lots of people have seen this. It's probably appropriate. The programmer has hopefully followed all copyright rules. But if there was anything kind of wrong with this, those 13,000 people probably would have flagged it and it wouldn't be there. So take a look. Lots of people view your code. Oh, this box beside there, almost 700 people have remixed the code. That's what we're going to be doing today. So lots of people have remixed it. Lots of people have favorited it. And lots of people have loved it as well. So take a look at your code. Decide, have lots of people paid attention to this code? If so, it's probably good code for us to use. You can even scroll down and you can see the comments. If there are any silly, nasty comments, sometimes that happens. If there are silly, nasty comments, maybe stay away from that code. So you found some code. You're going to go and see inside the code. So you see there's a box up at the top corner. When we go see inside, that's going to actually show us the code and we can start manipulating that. All right, so students, you've got your code, hopefully. You have selected see inside. What I need you to do right now, let us know in the form. Do you have some code? Are you ready to go? Let me know, what code did you find? So let me know in the form. Are you ready? What code did you find? I'm going to take you through just one last step. and then we're going to get coding. So students that have used CS First, right now, I know I can't see you. I want you to put up your hand. Have you used CS First before? If you've used CS First, we can take this code and put it inside our CS First. That way it's going to be saved and our teacher can see it. So right now, I'm only talking to those of you that already know about CS First. I'm going to show you how you can put this code inside your CS First. If you don't use CS First, you can just keep exploring your code. We'll take just 2 minutes to get those of you that have CS First set up so you can save this to your CS First account. So, CS Firsters, if you want to bring this over into your CS First account, you are going to go File. You are going to say Save to my computer. That's going to save that Scratch file. Then you are going to go to yet another tab. You're going to log into your CS First. Teachers, if your students aren't set up on CS First, this is a point. If you want to pause this, come back to this, and get them into CS First later, awesome. But I know there's lots of you out there, you already know how to get into CS First. If you're in CS First, you're logged in, you are going to click on the magic blue Create a New Project. When you create that new project, you are then going to just go to the File menu and dun dun dun. I'm going to go to the File menu. When it loads, I'm going to go to the Fast View. What you're going to do, students, when you get that new project, when you go to that File menu, you just say, Load from your computer. And that file you just saved, boom, is inside CS First, saves automatically, and then your teacher can also see that. So have no fear. Those of you that do not have CS First, we still get to work on this together. But those that do have CS First, get that saved in there so that it's there for you later and later. All right, I'm going to check in to our Tooglers and see if they have their code to see if they are ready to go. I'm going to just remove this so we can see. Emery Michelle, thumbs up, Tooglers. Do you have your code ready to go, ready to manipulate? Awesome. I'm going to ask Elmi. When you are coding like in your day job, do you start with existing code kind of like we're doing today? Or do you like build it right from nothing?
So actually, more often than not, you start with somebody else's code that you're adding features to or adding a large block to or using. So more often than not, you're reading somebody else's code.
Aha! So students, oh my gosh, it's almost like we're real computer programmers. We're taking someone else's code and we're going to manipulate that. Awesome. All right, Tooglers, I'm going to let you guys go backstage. Keep manipulating your code. Students, I'm going to show you a couple of tips on what we can do to change this existing code that we have. So if you have it saved in CS First, awesome. If you don't have it saved in CS First, that's okay. I'm back in Scratch, just where I went see inside, and I can edit this. No problem. Be careful though, it's not saved. So if you're not inside CS First, it doesn't save automatic, but that's okay. You could also just go to that File menu, save it to your computer from time to time, just in case something happens. But if you are inside CS First, it saves automatically. Okay, so here we go. Who is ready? We've got, looks like Joe Paul is ready, has Geometry Dash. We have Nat is ready to go with WWE. Gordon, you have some code and it has a lot of variables, right? You guys are probably looking at your code and going, whoa, that is a whole lot that I don't really understand. That's okay. We're going to just take a couple of tiny little steps where we can manipulate this code little by little and start to understand it. Students, if I forgot to mention one thing, if you do try to save this to your computer, we've had some times where it's like, wow, it's too big. You have no space. That happens sometimes, especially if you're on a shared computer. Have no fear. Today we'll just play. If you don't get it saved, that's okay. But just know that that is sometimes a problem. Cristiano also has Geometry Dash. Love it. Okay, first thing you need to do, students, you need to run your code. In most cases, it's the flag that runs the code. So I'm going to run my code. And there's some music playing in the background, but that's okay. We don't need to hear the sounds right now. But what you'll notice, okay, my code, I've got a whole bunch of candies. I want to change my candies. I'm going to change it into like cats instead. If you want to change any of those sprites in your code, here's how we do it. Look at your code. Take a look at the sprites in your code. So down here, I see, wait a second, there's only one sprite and it's a striped candy? Where's my yellow candy? Where's my orange candy? How do I change those? So look at your code. If you see individual sprites, that's probably where you're going to go to change those sprites. But if you're like mine, where it's like, wait a second, there's only one sprite, let's go over to the costumes. So take a look up over kind of to the left. We have a costumes menu. Aha! Look at all my costumes. That's where all of my sprites are. So if I want to change any of these costumes, I got a couple of options. If I want, I could use the paintbrush and I could just like scribble and change my sprite. And then hopefully we should see, oh wait, I have no striped candies on my screen. Let's go to the red one. Oh, now if I scribble, you see how it updates automatically? Because I ran my code, I can see those sprites, I can see those costumes, and then they're going to change when I change them in the costumes. But what I want to do, I want to have a cat instead of a candy. So here's what we're going to do, students. Down below, you will see in your costumes, choose a costume. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to choose a brand new costume. And in this case, I want a cat. So I'm going to wait for that to load. I'm going to look for a cat. And scrolling down. Oh, I could put a bear. I could put a butterfly. Oh, there's my cats. I like this little guy. So what I did, just again, in case you missed that, I went to choose a costume. I said, grab the cat. And now I have a new costume that's the cat. But it's like, wait a second. How do I get my cat to replace one of my other candies? I'm just going to copy and paste it over top. So instead of writing on it, I'm just going to copy this sprite. So I'm going to select this whole sprite. Oh no, I'm still writing on it. I don't want to do that. I want to go to the select button. I'm just taking my mouse and highlighting that whole sprite. I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy that image. And then now I can go to any one of my candies and just paste that image on top. Either paste it on top or I could delete the existing image, but let's just go ahead and paste it right over top. Oh, my paste isn't there. This happened yesterday. Let me go back and make sure that I'm copying this. I can either go right click, copy image. I can also go Control C. I'm going to go back to my red sprite. I go Control V to paste. Oh, there it is. And see, so I could just hide what was there before, or maybe I want to delete what was there before. I want to probably resize this as well. But now you can see how you can replace the costumes to make that code look a little bit different. Let us know in the forum. Are you doing okay? Are you able to change those costumes? Isabel, you're asking, how do we put in music? I'm going to talk about that next. Let's check in with our Googlers. Our Tooglers, see how they are doing. Tooglers, thumbs up. Everything going okay so far? Jeff is like, I don't know. Harry Michelle, let me ask you a question. When you're coding in your day job, do you ever work with images in your coding?
Yes, sometimes I do work with images because if you're writing a code or software that's supposed to run on a machine, sometimes you want to take a screenshot of what is happening for your test or for other reasons. So you have to be able to manipulate image.
I love it. Awesome. So students, even though we're working in Scratch and we're working with sprites, computer programmers like Henry Michelle also work with images. Henry Michelle, what team do you work on? Tell me what programs are you working on in your day job?
So I am part of the Fuchsia team. So Fuchsia is the operating system that runs on a lot of Google devices. For instance, you have like the little assistants with a screen, the Nest. Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah,
Students, the computer programmers that work on the programs we use are here. It's amazing. And they're coding in Scratch with us. Okay, Henry Michel, one more question for you. Je pense que tu parles français aussi. Oui?
oui, oui, je parle français aussi.
And so students, are there any of you out there that speak French? If so, you can pose questions to us in French. But Henry Michel, when you are speaking different languages, you got to be able to read that language as well, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
when we're coding, we also need to learn how to read a language. So it's
That is
kind
true.
of the same.
Yes, yes, it is kind of the same. But when you're coding, there's also a lot of similarities between various language. So if you learn a certain language and that's the first language you learn, once you understand the basic of how that language works, it'll be very easy for you to learn another programming language.
I love it. Okay, so students, we're going to let the Tooglers go backstage again, but we're going to now start looking at our code and trying to read this language. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zip back over to my code. Before I do, of course, I have to do some shout outs. Luc, Gabriel, Mayel, Angelica, Savannah, Patrick, Kira, Gabriel, Richard. There are so many students ici qui parlent français. I love it. So we're basically looking at another language. Amanda, comment est-ce que tu mets la musique? I will answer that question right now for you. So students, whether we're looking at code, whether we're looking at a French textbook, sometimes we might look at it and go like, whoa, I don't understand this. But if we stop and slow ourselves down, we'll realize, wait a second, I do understand some of this. I'm going to go into a screen here where I can see my code a little bit better. Maybe I'll zoom up a smidge. As I'm looking through this code, I see, when I start, what else do I notice here? I notice, well, hey, there's some math. I kind of get math. Ooh, switch costumes. I know what that means. But there's still a lot that's really complicated in here. What I want you to do, students, take a look at your code. What do you understand? And maybe you're in a sprite and you're like, whoa, I don't understand any of this code. Look at some of the other sprites. Do you understand the code in the other sprites? This one is going to different XY coordinates. Okay, I kind of get that's placing things in certain spots. Maybe the score bar. Ooh, wait a second. We've got a score variable. Maybe that will come up later. But if I go into each of my sprites, hopefully I will find something that makes sense to me, something I can read. And specifically, start sound. So those of you students that are interested in changing the music, you are looking at your code, trying to read things that make sense. Find a sprite that has a call to the music or to the sounds. So the block you're looking for is start sound. And if you find that block, that's how you can change the sounds. To change the sounds, we have this drop down menu. I have already a bunch of sounds loaded on the sprite. They're there, so I could change to any one of those sounds. Or if we go to the sound tab. So students, if you're head down, if you want to see how to change the sounds, take a quick look up at the screen at the front. You have the sounds tab. Inside the sounds tab, that's where sounds are already preloaded. But if you want to add new sounds, you just go to the choose a sound. So it's just like when we chose our costumes or we chose our sprites. We can go in and choose our sounds. We could test these. Teachers, it might get a little noisy in the room right now. It's great noise. But students, if you miss that, again, there's the sound tab. Inside the sounds, we can look through each of these. I wonder if I have a meow sound in here. Let's just search. Haha, I do. So as soon as I choose a sound, if I go back to my code, I should be able to change my sound. So instead of starting the game with game start, now I have meow. We won't worry about playing that sound for you guys. Hopefully that made sense to you. So you go into the sound menu, you choose the sound, and then you can change the code. Start sound, you can change it to whatever sound you like. All right, students, let us know in the form if you were able to find that code, the code that let you change the sounds. If you're having any questions, let us know. I'm going to check in on our Tooglers again. Elmi, Henry, Michelle, Jeff, our students, seems like they're doing some pretty cool stuff out there. Let's check in with you, Jeff. When you're coding, when you're doing computer programming, are there ever times where you're working with sounds in your programming, in your day job?
It's interesting. Yeah. Maybe not sounds necessarily, but maybe audio files and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think just given the kind of work I do, it's not something that generally we add a lot of sounds to, so you don't do it too much. But obviously, if you're making games and stuff like that, that would be something that would be pretty common. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. And let's check in with Cristiano. Cristiano wonders if they can use MP3 sounds. Yeah, you know what, Cristiano? You can import sounds. You can import costumes. Definitely play around. We don't have time to show it today. Isabel, you found the sounds. Awesome. Julia, it works. Alexis, you got it. Jack says, oui, yes. Okay, Jeff, we've got about 10 minutes left.
Yeah. I was going to ask Michelle, like, we've been doing a lot of the visuals and the sounds. Do you think we can change how the game works at all or change anything about it? I know my kids love to prank me. So they would want to change. If you tried to move it one direction, it would move the opposite direction or something like that. I don't know. I know the code is complicated, but yeah.
I like that. Okay, so we're going to have to dive in and really understand the code to make it function differently. Okay, challenge accepted, Jeff. Henry, Michelle, Elmi, you guys are now being challenged. Change the function of the code rather than just the look and the sounds. All right, I think we got this. Let's go back to our coding. Thanks for the inspiration, Jeff. Students, you need to now look at your code. how can you change what the code actually does? In my case, wait a second. Okay, so we've got this high score. When I play my game, I'm just going to play it real quick. I see that my score, okay, let's just make sure. Let's play this game. Okay, I get 120 points each time I play my game. What if I change that and then I can get like 1,000 points, maybe 10,000 points? I could get high score every single time. All right. How am I going to do this? Okay, I remember seeing that score block. Students, looking at your code, if you're looking for something, like in my case, I want to see how I can change the score. I don't see the score block here in my sprites. There's somewhere else that code hides. And if you know where else I can look to find code, let me know in the forum. If I'm not finding my code in any of these sprites, where else can I look where maybe I'll find the code that I'm looking for? So if it's not in the sprites, where might it be? So I'm asking you guys, Savannah, Shay, Mayel, Jasmine, Kira, Gordon, where else can I look to find the code? So we've got Kit Kat is out there. Kit Kat, if that is your name, that is a cool name. You're thinking, look in the score bar. That's a great question, great guess, but nope, it's not there. If I go over to this, there you go, Gabriel, you got it. It's in the background. It's in the stage. Great, great job. So students, if you are looking for any code and you can't find it, take a look in the background. Take a look on that stage over on the right. Quite often, that's where the code is that you're looking for. I got one more tip for you. I'm looking for score. And so I could spend like forever and just keep searching through this code looking for that variable score. But here's a pro tip, a hint for you. If you press Control F, look what happens. So if you're on a Mac, it's Command F. But press Control F and take a look at what comes up. You get a search bar. And I'm going to search for the word score. And what's going to happen, it's going to highlight that word score. So you see how it highlighted score bar. So now, because I pressed Control F, I got this search bar. I now can look through here and I should be able to see highlighted in yellow the word score. It might be tricky. It's definitely not foolproof, but I think if I scroll through here, I should see highlighted in yellow the word. Oh, there it is. Do you see that? Highlighted in yellow is the word score. Whoa. I can change the score. So again, if you are looking for a specific variable or a specific word, if you press Control F or Command F, brings up that search bar. In my case, I put in the word score and then it highlighted it in yellow. I'm going to change the score. Instead of changing it by 40 times the variable, whatever count A is, I'm going to change this by 4,000. Let's see if I stop my code. I play it again. And when I play my game, I'm even going to go full screen on this. Let's play my game. Let's see what my score does. Instead of going by 120, hopefully it's going to give me, yes, 12,000. I'm going to get this high score. So students, we have showed you how you can change your sprite costumes. We can change the music. If we can read that code, we can find how to change things. And we can even manipulate the code so it does something different. Jeff thought maybe we could change the movements, trick someone going right instead of left. I changed my code so I could get high score. Let's check in on our students. The background. So Gabriel, in case you missed how to find the background, just over here on the right-hand side, do you see that where it says stage? That's where you can find code there. Julia, can you make a costume? Sure, absolutely. When you go into your sprites, and inside your sprites, when you're going into costumes, you can either draw on this, you can add shapes, or when you go to choose a costume, that very top one, you can even upload images from the internet that you find. So great question. Okay, students, we want you to post into the form, what did you code? What did you change? Let us know. Gabriel, can you put the score as high as I want? I kind of think I can. I could probably put it to like 1,000,000. Great idea. So we're going to check back in on our Tooglers. Tooglers, we're out of time for coding. You're probably thinking, no, I don't want this to stop. Students out there, our time is up for coding. You're probably thinking, please, teacher, hopefully they'll give you more time to code. But we're going to take time now. We are going to take a look at what our Tooglers did. Students, you let us know in the form, what did you do? I think we're going to bring Sandy back. I think Sandy wants to see this awesomeness. Sandy, what'd you think?
It's so awesome. I love watching the Tooglers and you, Michelle, listening to what the students are doing, taking something that somebody else has created, right? And now you're taking it and you're making it your own. You're personalizing it. You're getting to be the creator and not just the consumer. I really, until this week, never thought of being able to do this with the code. So absolutely love it. Can't wait to see what Elmi, Henry, Michelle, and Jeff have created.
I can't wait either. I wonder, do we have a volunteer who wants to go first, or do I just pick on one of you to show? Are you guys nervous? Elmi, I love to see your smile. I'm going to go with you first. Elmi, while you're sharing your screen for the students to see, Kira, thank you. You did something with ice hockey. You had lots of fun. Cristiano, you changed the characters, the sounds, and the score. Gabriel agrees with you, Sandy. Like, this is cool, taking existing code and being able to change it. Julia changed the costumes. Gabriel, you changed the character into a spaceship. Love it. Elmi, I think, do we have your screen? We do. Let's go ahead and see what you did. Let us know.
Okay. So for me, I really like this game. However, when I'm playing such games, I don't like to hear sounds. And initially, this game had sounds on pouring, on clicking on a vial, on pretty much every step. So I set out to deal with this. So my solution was to add a button that allows you to turn sounds off. So I'll start playing with sounds and then show you what happens if we press the button. So I don't like it when this happens. So we'll press a button and see how the line goes through it now. So now whenever we're pouring something, there is no noise.
Okay, that's super cool. So that feature didn't exist when you first had this code. And so you changed the sprite so it looked different. And it also...
I've added a sprite with 2 costumes. So initially I started with just 1 costume, but it was not very visible whether we actually clicked on it or not. So let's look at it a little bit. So there is the sprite, which has 2 costumes. So 2 buttons, one with the strike through which says it's turned off, one without the strike through which says it's turned on. I drew the picture myself, so that solves the intellectual property issue. And what happens when this button is pressed is it changes the value of a variable. That variable says use sound or not, and every place that plays sound checks whether this variable is set to true and doesn't play sound if it's set to false. So there were a couple of complexities here. So one was figuring out what the right behavior for the button would be. Like, does it need to be changed just the color? Does it need to be changed in brightness? The other issue was figuring out all the places in the game which play sound and fixing them all. And this is very, very reminiscent of what happens in real world, where you need to go and find all the places when you are changing some code.
I love that, Elmi, and I love that. So there was a problem. Like, it's like, hey, I don't like this. I can fix it. Fabulous. So students, Isabel, by the way, Elmi, Isabel says they love your Scratch. Great job.
Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead, Sandy. Oh, I thought there's.
No, I was gonna pull out that same. I love that Elmi started with a problem, right? Like, you don't have to stop playing the game because the sound's irritating you. You have a problem and you're gonna set out and you're gonna fix it. And so again, you have that ownership, you have that voice, you have that opportunity to create and change things to suit you. Love that, Elmi.
Yes. And students, if you have any feedback for Elmi, let us know in the form. Let's go next over to you, Jeff. I'm very curious to see what you've been up to.
I had a somewhat real experience that you probably have as a software developer where I was a little bit too ambitious and I wasn't able to really do what I wanted to do with the code. So the code was a little bit too complicated for me to understand. This is a real thing when you take on other people's code. So it's kind of a good thing maybe to talk about. I wanted to change, so I'll just show the game really quickly so everyone can see it. And let me make my screen smaller so it's a little bit easier. I picked a typing game. So when I was young and I was just starting to play with computers and I was learning to type on the keyboard, I really enjoyed these typing games. So I found a really cool shark game where you can type in words. And so this is what you can see here. But this game originally only had 3-letter words. So I was like, oh, maybe I can change it so that it can have some cool words. So what I tried to do was make this so that it had a bunch of words like Google, Chrome, browser, computer, science, Jeff, Henry, Elmi, Sandy, Michelle, Canada. So I was like, oh, cool. I'll try and customize the game here. And I won't lie. I'll show you some of the code. I couldn't figure out where to change the code. And then as I sort of started to understand it, the code was expecting only 3 letters. So I would have had to change a whole bunch of things to change the behavior here. And the other thing I did do, similar to Elmi, is I took away the music. This played a really it had music, but I didn't really like it. So I just took out the music really quickly. And so this code was a little bit complicated. It's kind of neat to learn from, and I think you can play with it to learn. But yeah, so I wasn't able to. I maybe bit off more than I could chew, is what I'll say. So. Yeah.
But I'm certain there's students out there that are feeling that exact same way. So Jeff, I kind of think it's great that you weren't able to figure it out because it's not that easy. So students, those of you out there, if you were struggling, that's okay. But keep working with it, and I'll bet you'll figure it out. Thank you so much for that, Jeff. Love that. All right, Henry, Michelle, let's see what you did while you are loading your work. We've got Richard made the sprites of Sonic to be supersonic. Excellent. Gabrielle, it sounds like you're really enjoying this, able to manipulate your own game. Savannah says really likes your idea, Jeff. So did Cristiano. Carter, changing the walking speed in your game. Oh yeah, I love that. Like changing how fast or how slow things work. Okay, Henry, Michelle. Oh, it looks a little like Candy Crush.
Yes, so I picked Candy Crush as well. And I essentially turned it into Butterfly Crush, if I could call it that. So all of them are butterfly. And I also remove restriction on the game where you can essentially it will kind of solve itself because every move is allowed. So you can just press anywhere and it will start solving itself. So you won't have to do a lot of things and you will always have a high score.
I love that. It's like, okay, let's get rid of rules. Who needs rules? Very
Essentially, yeah, it will automatically solve. It needs a bit of user input, but yeah, since everything is allowed, you can move things however you want.
love that. Love it, love it. All right. Well,
Yeah.
students, let us know in the form, what do you think? Elmi, Jeff, Henry, Michelle, you guys all did an amazing job. I think we've got some time now to just have some sort of words of advice. Sandy, I'll let you take it from here.
Absolutely. And maybe I can just draw the comparison again as I'm watching Jeff and Henry, Michelle, and Elmi, who work with and manipulate and read and edit code in their jobs at Google. This week, looking at the massive amounts of code in these games that we've downloaded, I think has just been eye-opening for me. You know, I'm used to doing a little bit of coding in Scratch for CS with the kids, and even that looks a bit complicated to me, but to see the massive amounts of text behind these games, it's probably only a small microcosm of all of that code that's out there helping us to run all of the things that we do in our daily lives. So I love that we got to see the amount of text, but also to see how we can change it up, personalize it, or like Elmi did and Jeff did, take a problem with the code and change it around to make it work for you. So excellent. And students, I know that you're having lots of fun too. I'm so glad that you've joined us and you had a chance to meet our Tooglers. So fairly quickly, I'm going to go through and I'm going to ask Tooglers, it's Computer Science Education Week. It's Hour of Code. We're trying to get our kids excited and we're trying to show them a little bit about coding, you know, in the curriculum, in the real world. What would be a word of advice that you would have for our students today? So I'm going to start with you, Jeff. Jeff, what would you give as some advice for our kids?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a broken record because I say the same thing every time I get asked this, but I think I would encourage everyone out there to think of coding not necessarily as a only related to building software or kind of writing code that computer programmers would build. Rather, think of it as a skill that you can use in any kind of program or area you go in. You know, I think we saw today some of us change the art, right? So I think programming and coding is more of a tool than it is necessarily a job, right? And I'd encourage everyone to really think of it. I think you're very fortunate to be growing up with all this technology and have this access to you. So, you know, a lot of us probably went to school to learn to code specifically to get a job in software development. And here, you know, now I'm starting to see it being taught at grade 4 level with my son, and he's going to learn this as a skill that he can take anywhere with him. And so.
I love it, Jeff. And even if it is a broken record, I know we have new educators and new students joining us and teachers. I guess I think too of all those years I spent in a school as a retired school principal, and like, wow, it's another tool that we can just use. You know, we use paint and we use paper and we use glue, we use plasticine and we use, you know, all sorts of physical things. And now we have this digital tool that we can use as well and really be that creator. So love that. Henry, Michelle, what word would you have for our students and our educators today?
That programming is fun. And although you do type and code a software program or something, but the essence of it is something that people often do intuitively in their lives. So if you, for instance, if you have to go through your assignments, you by yourself decide, okay, I'm going to do this question first or this question first. You're already used to prioritizing certain stuff, which is sometimes automated. So there are a lot of skills that you learn without it being called programming, but that is useful when you actually write code.
That's a key word, Henry Michelle, that automation, right? Making things more efficient in our lives, changing things to make our lives better. And I mean, we love video games, and I'm not saying video games don't make our lives better, because it's great for us to have recreational things we do and a little bit of downtime, but so many productive real-time tools that we can use, and that's automation through computer science. Thank you very much. Elmi, what's your final word for our students and teachers today?
I would say go and explore, because like what you've seen right now was applying some coding to solving problems or to changing things, right? And I find that coding is tightly connected to things you learn in school, like math, because when you're reading through the code, you'll notice that you're doing computation. You're deciding where your sprite will move or how to change the color. And I think it's interconnected with everything you're learning in school.
Elmi, again, another key word is that computational thinking. It's taking the big picture, like you just looked at all that code in each of the respective games that you picked, all of that, and you're like, no, I would just want to focus on the sound, or I want to focus on changing the costume. And so it's like, how do you break it down to that one small step that you can take to either create something or manipulate something that exists? And I think that's a life skill as well, Elmi. So great words of advice from our Googler students. I hope that you'll join me in a little virtual round of applause. Jeff, Henry Michelle, and Elmi. I've pulled them away from their day work, and they come and they join me to help inspire you. So thank you very much, Tooglers, for joining us. And I think with that, Michelle, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, awesome. Agreed. And I think we also have a word of wisdom from Jasmine as well. So let's just be confident, like you can do anything. Just try. So great word of wisdom from you as well, Jasmine. Students, we were able to see our Tooglers work. We would love to be able to see your work as well. And so teachers, you are going to get an email that gives you information on how you can share the student work with us. We'll put it up in our Scratch Showcase, but if you would like to share your work with us, students, talk to your teacher. They have information on how they can get that to us. And show of hands, students, how many of you would like to keep coding? I might even hear you guys saying, yes, teachers, let us keep coding. Hopefully, you enjoyed this week. We did this 3 times. There are recordings for all 3 of them. Teachers, you're going to get all 3 recordings if you want to keep coding with your students. And then in January, we start a series again. We ran it this fall. We're running it again starting in January, coding across the curriculum. Students, you can code in math and science and language arts. We have a full series where almost every single Tuesday, we're going to have more Tooglers with us coding inside the curriculum. Teachers, information will be in your email as well. Check out our website, Cobblestone Collective. We are thrilled to be able to do the work we do. Wouldn't be possible without Sandy and Google Canada. So Sandy, I'll leave the final word to you.
Well, thank you again, Michelle, Elmi, Henry, Michelle, Jeff, educators, students. Hour of Code has been so much fun. Computer Science Education Week, I think it should be every single week. And so we hope that you will join us for our ongoing series. We love to engage with you. We love trying to meet you where you're at. Students, we want to help make school fun, and teachers, we want to help you engage with your students in a way that suits your needs as well. So please reach out to us, please join us. And with that, we hope everyone has a great day, and happy coding, everyone.